Today we are talking about biblical literacy and how we can move from just reading and knowing the Bible to really understanding it, applying it, and falling in love. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to Biblically Serious, where we're all about understanding the Bible and owning our faith. Hey guys, as I was editing this video, I realized I didn't give you an exact definition of what biblical literacy is, so I'm taking this moment to do so. Biblical literacy is the ability to read the Bible with an understanding of what it is about so that you can apply it in your life. Since biblical literacy is a type of learning and education, you'll see as we jump back into the video how I relate that to the purpose of education. The purpose of education is essentially the same for everyone. It is to give the young the things that they need in order to develop in an orderly, sequential way into members of society. We are taught inside so that we can go out and do and be. Similarly, biblical literacy is about not only learning things inside, whether that be the church or your quiet time, and going out and applying it into the real world so that we can be active citizens of the kingdom, building it up on earth. I really love how this organization sums up biblical literacy. We'll dive in deeper to this definition, but ultimately biblical literacy is about three things: your ability or your knowledge, your application, and your desire and motivation. So let's get into each one of those. Imagine reading a text in Spanish or French. I may know the alphabets, the letters may look familiar, and I may even be able to form the words. But do I understand what I am reading? Similarly, with the Bible, you obviously need a very basic definition of just how to read in general. I mean, we can't talk about literacy without talking about the ability to read the physical words. But then we want to take it one step further and also be able to understand what these words all mean together, whether that means sentences or paragraphs, just really trying to understand what is going on in the passages. After that, we can take it one more step further and then trying to understand really what is the intended meaning of the author. I talked about that in another video where I described 4 steps of biblical exegesis and how to study the Bible. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below, as well as tag it somewhere in this video. So if we think about ability or knowledge, we want to be able to actually read, right? We want to understand what those words mean together so we can describe what's happening in the passage. Then we want to go one step further and be able to uncover the original intended meaning of the author. And that's going to be taking some more additional resources that you have to bring in order to uncover that truth, right? It's not necessarily about your frequency, but it really is about how you read the Bible. So the next step is application. So now that you know what's going on in the text, it's time to apply it. This is something that really separates a believer maybe from just a scholar. A scholar may have all this knowledge that may never impact their life, but they could be an expert in their subject field and spend a lot of time learning. But believers take it one step further, and we take that knowledge and we apply it to our lives. And that's why that first step of knowledge and ability is so important, because if we don't get that right, then the application can be poorly executed, and it can either serve as a bad witness for us or just a misunderstanding or wrong expectations of who God is and how He's supposed to show up in our lives. But if we get it right, it's beautiful. We get to trust God in these times, increase our faith by really leaning in and putting our hearts and our actions on the line, and trusting that God's word is true and will come through for your situation. So when that happens, guess what typically happens is our affections and our motivation to continue to be in the word will increase. And that takes me to my third point of biblical literacy. Part of biblical literacy is not just the head knowledge and the application, but also the relationship that you continue to grow and develop as a result. As you continue to read the Bible more, as you continue to apply it, then you'll start understanding God in new ways. Your affections will grow for Him. Your motivation to continue to read the Word to understand God more is going to grow as well. I think missing this step in biblical literacy is kind of like being a fan. It's like, if you guys have seen my last video, you know that I am a fan of Jackie Hill Perry. But it's kind of like this idea of, I follow her on Instagram. I watch her YouTube videos. I've been to the PIA tours, and I kind of just like followed her over the years. But I think I know her, but if I were to meet her, she doesn't know me, right? And I don't really know her. I just know a side of her that she's revealed to the public. And I think when we start studying the Bible, we could be consumed with that knowledge of God without actually having the relationship with Him. And that application is really what ties us together, ties those two things together, because it engages us in a relationship with God. It puts us on a limb to say, God, I trust that your word is true, and I'm going to bank on it in my life. And when that happens, we see God show up in new ways, and we're more motivated, and we're more excited, and we get to know God deeper. So if you're still here in this video, thank you. I have not scared you off with my extensive definition of biblical literacy. I hope I didn't overcomplicate it. I think the easiest thing to remember with biblical literacy is, do you have your head, your hand, and your heart in it? If you guys found this video helpful, be sure to like it and share it with someone and start a conversation. And I will see you in the next video.